Those cartels, well, they're about keeping prices high for customers. Today we are dealing with a slightly unusual cartel. The companies did not coordinate their sales prices. Instead, they conspired to lower their purchase prices. But unusual or not, the potential harm for the market is just as serious. And what also remains the same is, of course, our commitment to fight cartels, whatever shape they may take. So today we have decided to fine 3 recycling cartels, a total of more than 67 million euros for their participation in a cartel. The companies are Campine of Belgium, Ecobat Technologies from the UK, and Recylex of France. A 4th company, Johnston Controls of the United States, they also took part in the cartel, but they avoided a fine because they were the first to tell us. The cartel these companies had organized concerned used automotive batteries, the batteries used in cars or trucks to supply electricity for the car or the truck. These batteries, I think most people know them. What may not be so known is that this is probably one of the most recycled products in the European Union. In fact, more than 50 million used car batteries are recycled in the EU every year. Recycling companies, as the 4 that we're dealing with today, well, they purchase automotive batteries from scrap dealers or scrap collectors. Then they process and treat these used car batteries to sell recycled lead, usually to battery manufacturers who use those to make new car batteries. So car batteries, well, they're actually an excellent example of the circular economy when it really works, where waste from one product becomes the input and the raw material for another product. That can help us to use the raw resources much more efficiently, and this is why, of course, the circular economy is a priority for the Commission. That called for an efficient and competitive recycling industry. But this cartel may actually have undermined competition and disrupted the price setting of used automotive car batteries. In our investigation, we found that between 2009 and 2012, the 4 companies, well, they agreed to lower the prices that they paid for scrap batteries in Germany, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. In particular, the companies exchanged information and agreed on target prices, maximum prices, and volumes to buy from suppliers. They also tried to limit the bargaining power of their suppliers by exchanging information about the prices these suppliers offered on the final prices that they agreed to with them. And therefore, the basic aim in this cartel was the same as in any other cartel. The companies hoped to make higher prices, higher profits by colluding instead of competing. The majority of these anti-competitive contacts, well, they took place on a bilateral basis, mainly through telephone calls, emails, text messages between senior managers. These companies knew very well that what they were doing was wrong. Sometimes they made an effort to keep the nature of their contracts secret by using coded language. In one instance, an executive tried to disguise the signaling of prices as a comment on the weather. But it was pretty clear that they were not discussing the weekly rainfall or a sudden temperature drop. The direct victim of the cartel are the collectors and the traders who sell used automotive batteries, many of which are small or medium-sized companies. They may have been paid less than they would have been paid if the market had been truly competitive. But also, more broadly, a cartel undermined the circular economy. It meant that prices were set by collusion. As a result, there is no competition on the merits or real competition in the price setting for used automotive batteries. Before I conclude, just a few words about the fines in this case. It is our practice when we calculate the fine to take three things into consideration. First, the seriousness of the infringement. Second, the turnover generated by the products affected. And thirdly, the duration and the degree of each company's participation. When it comes to working out fines, we usually start with the amount of sales affected by the cartel. Here, since the cartel affected purchase prices, we looked at the company's purchases instead. But that figure presumably were lower than it would have been without the cartel holding the prices down through collusion. So a fine based on the purchase may not have been high enough to discourage future cartels. It would therefore have been allowed for cartelists to benefit from keeping their purchase prices lower. And this is why, in this case, we used our powers to increase the fines by 10%. At the same time, we continue to encourage companies to cooperate with us and to uncover and investigate cartels. This was also the case in this investigation, and that is why, as usual, the individual fines have been adjusted to reflect whether or not a company has chosen to provide evidence to help the Commission prove the infringement. Preventing and punishing cartels is a Commission priority. All cartels undermine competition and make our markets work less well. And that happens no matter if it's a sales price or purchase price cartel. Today's fine sends a clear message that we will not tolerate cartels or anti-competitive behavior in any part of our economy, and of course not in the circular economy either. Thank you for your attention.